Did you know there are some common mistakes many beginning freelance copywriters make when they're first getting started? These mistakes can not only affect your business and your ability to attract and land clients, but they'll affect the results you can get for those clients and your confidence in yourself and your copywriting abilities. When you know what these mistakes are and how to avoid them, though, you're putting yourself on the fast track to successfully navigating the beginning stages of freelance copywriting. So let's talk about the 5 mistakes beginning copywriters make when writing for clients. I'm Christa Nichols, sales copywriter for 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and business owners, and copywriting trainer and coach for Wordy Mamas. I've made $1.5 million in the last 5 years writing copy for clients, but I started at the very bottom with no experience, no social media following, and no marketing degree. Yep, I learned it all the hard way through trial and error, and in this video I'm going to share with you 5 avoidable mistakes you want to make sure to look out for so you can grow your business without getting stuck or stressed. All 5 of these mistakes are completely preventable, and I'm going to share my best tips to navigate these obstacles with you. This YouTube channel is full of actionable and proven hacks, tips, and strategies for freelance copywriting mamas just like you. Make sure you subscribe and smash that button so you get notified when my videos go live. Let's just dive on into mistake number 1. The first mistake is not doing enough research before you start writing. Writing is only one of the skills a good copywriter has, and in the beginning stages of working with new clients, you'll spend more time researching the client's target audience than anything else. I've even heard some people say copywriting is 80% research and 20% writing. That seems like a lot, but it really is that important. The level of results you can get for clients is directly related to how well you know the target audience you're writing to. Who are they? What pain and problems do they have? What do they want? What have they tried before, and why didn't it work? How can your clients' offers solve their problems when nothing else has? The list of questions you need to know the answers to goes on and on. And without a solid amount of research under your belt, you'll never know the answers, and your copy will lack the attention-grabbing, what are you doing inside my brain effect it needs in order to drive engagement and sales. Let's slide on into mistake number 2. The second mistake beginning copywriters make is not giving enough time and attention to writing strong hooks. The hook is the first thing the reader lays their eyes on in the copy, and it has just one job, but it's a really important one: to grab the reader's attention. In today's world of fast-moving social media and overabundance of content everywhere you look, attention is the currency your clients are clamoring for. Weak hooks will not perform, and they won't get the kind of scroll-stopping reaction you need to keep people reading. Without a strong hook, the reader will just keep scrolling. In fact, it's not an exaggeration to say that the hook is the most important part of the copy, because without a strong hook, the reader won't see any of the rest of it. So how do you create strong hooks? For a cold audience, focus on the pain that they're in and the problems they're experiencing. Cold audience members aren't always aware of what the cause of their problems is, so talking about the solution right off the bat is just going to fall on deaf ears. That's why a pain-based hook often works best for a cold audience. If the audience is warm and they're already aware of who your client is and what the cause of their problem is, then you can meet them with a solution-based hook. A solution-based hook grabs their attention by presenting the exact outcome they want in a way that's irresistible. Have you ever heard the phrase, facts tell, but stories sell? That's mistake number 3, not using enough stories to create connection. That phrase is true for several reasons. If you don't include stories in your copy, you're taking all the connection out, and that's a problem. I have a problem. Mastering the use of storytelling in your copy is important for several reasons. First, people want to buy from people they know, like, and trust. Stories are one of the best ways to build that know, like, and trust factor, especially when you're trying to build connection with people you'll only ever encounter through a screen. Second, stories are memorable. People can put themselves in the story and see their own situation, see that your client is putting themselves on their side. It's one thing to say in the copy, I know exactly what you're going through, but it's so much more powerful to show it by telling a story that describes how your client has already gone through it and come out the other side. And third, stories are entertaining. People will stay in the copy longer if they're being entertained. Humans have loved stories since the beginning of time. Centuries ago, story was how history was passed down from generation to generation. That doesn't change just because we live in the technology age now. People still love stories, and in fact, I think it makes stories even more important than ever as a way to preserve human connection. Mistake number 4 is not being prepared for split testing. Here's the thing, there's no way to know for 100% certainty what's going to work until you test it. You can agonize forever over a headline, but until you actually put it in front of the audience and see what they do with it, you don't have any real data to know what's working and what's not. And this is something people don't talk about with new copywriters. I don't know how many times I've coached beginning copywriters to expect to tweak and change things as campaigns get rolling. That's normal. You're not going to go out and bat a home run with every single piece of copy you write from the very beginning. The truth is the audience decides what works, and until they see it, it's all just a guess. Unfortunately, this is something that the clients themselves sometimes don't completely understand. And if something doesn't work immediately, sometimes they'll come back to the copywriter and start playing the blame game. A brand new copywriter who's not prepared for the testing phase could be crushed. They'll think it's all their fault and that they're not good at what they do. They'll be tempted to give up or develop confidence problems when it comes to their copywriting skills. Here's what to do to prepare yourself and your clients for the testing phase so expectations are reasonable. First, you've got to talk to your client about the testing phase. Create those reasonable expectations right off the bat by acknowledging that it's normal for campaigns to take some time and tweaking to figure out what works. Emphasize that the audience gets to decide what works and that you'll be there to help them optimize their copy as the data starts coming in. Second, create several versions of headlines and subject lines to have ready and waiting. Those are the first things to test against each other, and they're the easiest to change too. Save yourself time and headache later by having some things waiting in the wings instead of having to scramble to come up with something if your first round of copy isn't a hit. The final mistake that can really trip up brand new copywriters is creating calls to action that are not clear. I know it's super tempting to be clever and funny, but cleverness counts for nothing if it only confuses the audience. Confusion never converts. Imagine if you were in a new town and you needed to send a package. You ask someone outside the local coffee shop for directions on how to get to the post office, and they quickly rattle off 4 or 5 steps that you have to remember in order to be able to get there successfully. You don't have any paper, so you just have to rely on your memory to remember that you need to go 6 blocks south, turn left at the stop sign, go 2 blocks east, take the roundabout, and look for the water tower on your right. You see where I'm going with this, right? Halfway there, you're going to get lost and forget half the things they told you to do. That's what you're doing to your clients' target audiences when your call to action is confusing or complicated. When it comes to moving the audience to action, you want to be as clear and simple as possible about what you want them to do, how you want them to do it, and the result that they'll get when they do, okay? If you're writing a sales campaign, you also want to avoid making more than one call to action in a piece of copy. If you ask the reader to do more than one thing per piece of copy, you're splitting the audience's focus and cannibalizing your sales. By forcing them to choose, you'll get less of a response and it'll be harder to tell what's working and what's not. Now, it's not that big of a deal to have more than one call to action in your weekly emails to your warm list or your Facebook posts to your warm audience. But when it comes to your sales campaigns, stick with one and done. My passion is helping freelance copywriting mamas launch their services and get their businesses off the ground so they can generate income without sacrificing their family time or their freedom and flexibility. Avoiding these 5 mistakes is going to help you have a smoother path to consistent, regular income. So what do you think? Give me a thumbs up if this video was helpful and drop a comment below and let me know which of these tips was your fave. And if you missed my video last week, I shared tips on copywriting for beginners, how to get started fast before 2024. Check out the link in the video description below to watch now. And make sure to subscribe and follow this channel for more tips, strategies, and resources for freelance copywriting mamas.